Good. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. I hope you hear me very well. I had the last minute, I forgot the whole battery on, so you're gonna hear me from the distant mic. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks for everything and all your support and donations to Maseractive. I really appreciate that. And today is the last lecture from the seminars, and is going to be about the water molecule, including how for us to crystallize the water. I was taught for how to crystallize water from the Council of Nine and the Pleiadians. They were the ones that actually I developed a colitis. And I'm going to tell you the whole protocol. I have everything here ready for that, so I can show you how it's done. Also, after the announcement that I want to make, after we finish this protocol of sessions, we're going to go every maybe 2 weeks to have these lectures, and it's going to be like Q&A all the time. Yes? And you can ask, basically we're gonna use a different platform that Jason and we're gonna promote a video. I guess we're gonna make a video and talk about it, so you guys can be physically seen on the screen, and we can have an interaction like Q&A, and we can go again through structures, so all the questions you have, new messages that are coming in. So I want to thank you again for coming, and this is the last lecture of the series, 2-month series. The water molecule. What I was told about the water molecule, that it becomes like a vortex, and it's basically its conductor from the structure. It's a very, very clear frequency sound vibration. It's so pure that it's mimicking the structure, it's its best vibration. So that is why the water molecule, when you tune in frequency vibration towards it, is absolutely mimicking. And I just had this stuff right before I came in. I downloaded this information like 5 minutes before we started. That's how we work, instantaneous downloads. Imagine that this is the water molecule. It becomes like a vortex when you start spinning, when you basically tune in specific frequency. And when you tune in the frequency into the water molecule, it becomes like a conductor, and is starting to mimic whatever frequency you end up giving into it. Becomes like a vortex. Think of this vortex that is going basically this way, and is going down, 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 down until it gets to the bottom. It transfers the frequency vibration into the next molecule. But you know what's happening here? What did I end up doing? There was one video that I was talking about the water molecule that actually is splitting up into the quantum structure. Why? Because it's fractal, and it's going from one timeline of parallel reality into another, and it's mimicking exact frequency. This is how the water molecule works. And what they told me, it literally, when you look at it from the side, it looks this way, starting to spin, and you have the vortex in the middle, which is actually the 0 point. And it's literally mimicking, what is that mimicking? The water molecule is mimicking the structure. Remember when we talk about the structure of the one molecule? And how it's basically going with the 0 point. This is exactly what the water molecule is doing. It's literally mimicking the structure itself. And that's why it's such a pure conductor, and that's why a lot of manipulation can start from water, and a lot of healing can start from water, especially when you crystallize the water through particular frequency. So this information just came to me today, okay, 5 minutes before we started. It's starting to spin this way. You have the 0 point, and it's going from the biggest to the smallest 0 point, and it literally becomes like a two vortexes spinning the opposite direction. And this is the reason why they end up doing this for me. So you see it from another platform. This is a sacred geometry. If anybody knows the sacred geometry, you're gonna realize what's happening here. And of course, this is the water molecule as the whole structure of the whole structure, and this is how the geometry is coming when it's basically coming from one reality to another. This is how it's splitting up. Remember, this is how it's splitting up. From the water molecule, you can actually crystallize a lot of different materials. Hold on for a second. You can crystallize different materials. You can basically will be like a manifestation. If you know the proper frequency, actually you can really mimic in something in the structure, and you can have any type of DNA transfer from one structure to the other. Literally, you can mimic DNA if you give the proper frequency through the water molecule. And this is why it's so important to understand that the water is got to be pure. We talk about the distilled water. The distilled water, I found out about the distilled water when the hybrids told me to drink only distilled water. And I thought like I've lost my mind. I ended up doing a lot of research, and sure enough, I found Andrew Weber on YouTube. And that's how I realized that whatever the ETs told me was absolutely the truth. The distilled water has a negative charge, and the negative charge is basically pulling all the non-natural chemicals out of your body. Basically, chemicals that are not produced naturally from your immune system. And that's why it's so important to drink only distilled water, not other water. Don't talk about, for example, they have reverse osmosis or some other systems. That is because the distilled water, when it goes inside your system, the latest information that they gave me, I don't know if I mentioned to you last time, was if you drink and fast for 3 days only on the distilled water, as much as you want to drink, a day, like a gallon maybe, within 3 days, your immune system is releasing the free radicals, I'm quoting, into your system, and is activating the cancer cells that we probably all have from pollution else, activating the cancer cells, and actually the water molecule of the distilled water is attacking the cancer cell. And when it's attacking the cancer cell, is actually neutralizing it, cancel it out. So whatever the cancer cell is absolutely canceling that vibration of the cancer cell, because the water molecule is going after and completely disabling the frequency vibration of that cancer cell. So that's why it's so important to drink the distilled water, because it's fundamental to pull out all the chemicals that coming into your system from whatever way you end up getting them in. Could be chemtrails, could be the pollution in the water that they put in. You know very well about the fluoride in the water, and whoever end up doing all this stuff and polluting the water knew exactly that the water is actually carrying all this stuff. And actually, when you have a polluted water, it's carrying all the chemicals into your DNA, because it's a pure conductor and is absolutely mimicking, because 98% of your body is anyway water. So imagine what's really happening here. So this is the structure, the way they show me. That's the geometry of it, which is a simple geometry. This geometry can be changed depending on the frequency, vibration, structure that you end up giving into. The molecular structure basically is going to mimic whatever vibration. This could be, the vibration could be multiple symphony, they're saying, of structures, which is going to mimic and change. For example, they're asking me to do this. Okay. It's some kind of a resonance. Okay, they said it's carrying resonance when you put the frequency vibration, and becomes like a pulsation in the water molecule. And they're also just telling me that it's also a nano. You can play with a nano when you do with the water molecule. So any scientist, if he hears that, this is the first time I'm hearing this from them. So please look into that, whatever I just said. Water molecule is also working in a nanoparticles that is splitting up in fractals. Now, to crystallize the water. crystallization of the water. What happened, how I've learned is, again, you know that everything I do is hands-on. That's how I was taught. I had a strep throat back and forth with my kids from school, and within a couple of months, I ended up using maybe 3 times antibiotics, which were obviously very serious. And within the 3rd month, I literally developed colitis. I was constantly in the bathroom. I started having a pain in the stomach, and because of all the knowledge that I have, I knew that I did something with the antibiotics. So I ended up running to one of my homeopathic doctors, which is Dr. Jenko in Rumson, incredible guy. This is in New Jersey, Rumson, Dr. John Jenko, if you look into. A phenomenal person, and he was an ex-pediatrician. He's still pediatrician. He has a licensed pediatrician, but he's also a homeopathic doctor. So if you want to look into homeopathic doctors, look into him. I went to him and I said, I don't know what to do. So we started getting some remedies. But as soon as I got home, my guidance told me, we want you to crystallize water. And this is how they taught me how to crystallize the water. And what they taught me, okay, I'm gonna erase that, guys, because I know it's gonna be in a video and you can see it. They told me to get distilled water, and I end up getting a bucket of distilled water. A lot of people ask me about the distilled water in the plastic bottle. Remember, it's a negative charge. So if it's a negative charge, it doesn't matter at this point. You can also buy a distiller. So thanks to my friend that donated the distill machine to me. I really appreciate, Susan, for your gift. The distilled water, again, is a negative charge, and because it's in plastic, don't worry about it. It's going to pull out the chemical from the plastic. You need to find, I have glasses of water. Base is crystal, but if you don't, why crystal? Because it's very good conductor and it's transferring the frequency. But if you don't have a crystal, have a glass that does not have any patterns on it, because I don't want any geometric pattern vibration of angles to come into the water when you start crystallizing it. So you're gonna take 3, I hope you guys see, do you see the glasses here? Yes. Okay. You need to take 3 types of glasses, and again, no patterns on it, completely clear. Pour maybe up to half of the distilled water, each one of it. And what they told me was to take a frequency sound vibration. And this is basically the frequencies that they told me that are basically general and universal for absolutely everybody. And the frequencies is 3 hertz. The second one is 70. And the third one is 90 hertz. Now, find online tonegenerator.com. That's how I found it, because what's happening here, they want this to be a specific duration. So when you find the online tone generator, put the speaker right next to the glass of water, and you're gonna put it on and press square, because the shine you don't really hear it. Somebody told me that, Marina, which was absolutely correct, the number 3 hertz you don't hear. When you put square, you hear. But the thing is, if you don't hear number 3 hertz, it's still in a field around it. So don't worry about it. Just put 3 hertz. Okay? When you put 3 hertz, put it only for 20 minutes. Only for 20 minutes each one. But the protocol for this is, when they told me that, I ended up doing the research and I found out that the body has to be, in order to be healthy frequency vibration, has to stay between 70 and 90 hertz at all time in order to have a proper vibration around it. But what's happening with number 3 hertz? If you see the harmonic reactor, I have a frequency and sound there. Look into the 3 hertz. And 3 hertz in there, this is how I found out. Then I did the research. I knew that I already had that information. 3 hertz is actually cleaning all the frequency that is basically you are vibrating on. So basically, whatever frequency I had from that colitis, because it's a specific frequency to make me, sick in the body because I'm an energetic field. So obviously something was off. Was basically cleaning that frequency and making a field of clean state field before I interact with those two frequencies. That's why it's so fundamental for you to put 3 hertz. And the way you do that is you pour the distilled water in maybe 1 cup, like a 4 to 8 ounces if you want to. Put 8 ounces if you want to. And you're gonna put the online tone generator in square, press square, and put it for 3 hertz for 20 minutes. But what you're gonna do, you're gonna take the first glass of water. Before you do that, take this glass of water and go into another room. Not in the same room, because you're gonna energize the entire frequency. All the water is gonna go with the same frequency. Because remember, I told you it's in a field. If you put it, then it stays in the field. Take that glass with 8 ounces of water, go in the other room, and put the online tone generator right next to it, the speaker, and put it on square, put it for 3 hertz, and the duration, the time, should be only for 20 minutes. At the moment the 20 minutes finish, make sure this exact timing, drink the whole cup. Then go and take the second one in the other room again and put online, press square again, put now 70 hertz. So the second cup should be 70 hertz. 70 hertz for 20 minutes duration. As soon as it finish, drink the second cup. Then go back and take now the third cup from the other room, bring it to whatever room you have, and put now for 90 hertz, 20 minutes. And as soon as you energize that, you drink it again. When this happens, because of the vortex and because it's literally going into your system. And what happened is, when I end up doing that, I just want to tell you one thing though. This 20 minutes is basically universal for every single person. But the duration, what they told me for me, was 27 minutes each. 27 or 29. But that is because every single person is vibrating, whatever the sickness is, whatever happened to me, had a specific potency of vibration. And in order for them to overwrite the frequency that I was sick with, in order to put the new frequency, they needed a specific potency to override that frequency that I was sick with the colitis. Soon as I completed this, I'm not kidding, it stopped instantaneous. There was no pain. I never went into the bathroom again. It was like wash off completely. Now, I cannot guarantee for something else. I know that we can, I always say that we can heal, be very precisely measured with specific equipment. Now, here they told me what to do, but I'm sure that when we have to heal cancer or something else, it's probably a lot more complex, and they told me is a lot of vibrational sequences depending on the person. So if you come to me and you have a private session, for example, and I give you 27 or 28, they're gonna tell me what frequency, but I cannot guarantee you to heal you, because if you have a contract to, for example, to do something, they're simply gonna, they're not gonna cancel your contract. They're gonna help you to go through the process, but not cancel your contract by healing you completely, because maybe you needed to learn a lesson. With me, this happened maybe to see how it is, and if you want your body to stay in a healthy vibration, most of the time, make sure, of course, you don't eat, GMO and unhealthy food. This is the protocol that is universal for everybody. If you're really sick, if you're something like this, then could be a different duration of the minutes. That's what I know. But what it is, I cannot tell you until, for example, you come to me and maybe I can give you some protocol, but it doesn't mean that we'll heal you. I cannot guarantee. I'm not a doctor. I cannot guarantee you complete cure, because I don't know your lessons and I cannot tap into your platforms of agreements. Remember that about me. And I think nobody has the right to learn it, because there's certain platforms of realities that none of us are allowed to tap in until the time is right. So this is basically the universal stuff. Everybody has a different vibration, but that is for everybody if you want to keep it in. And remember, don't do it in the same room. Take it in the different rooms and follow the protocol. There's also a video specifically for that. that I end up talking also, so look into that. And if you have any questions about it, please feel free to just ask me. It's time for questions. Okay? Let me just remove that. Any questions, guys? Anybody?
Yes. Can you use headphones?
Yes, you can use headphones for the water. Anything that can basically do it directly to the glass, and the frequency will come in. Again, do not worry about 3 hertz. It's in the field, you know. But the reason why I didn't put a shine and put a square, because I can hear. It was helping me to hear that something is happening, you know, in the field. If I don't hear anything, I was like in panic, you know, do I do it right? So make sure it's precise and stop it exactly at the time. So if you put 20 minutes, the reason why I like this online tone generator, because you can see, you can put exactly for how many minutes. A lot of them had maybe like a minute. This one is basically, you can put it for 2 hours if you want to. And I had situations with people that came to me and was like 32 minutes, 33 minutes, each one of this, depending on a person, to put the body back into, they said into natural order, but that doesn't mean it's going to heal you depending on your lessons, okay? So I'm not promising this is going to work for everybody, but I can promise you that this definitely works to keep your body in a proper state, okay? A frequency. So what was the question? Is there?
Do you use headphones?
Oh yes, yeah. You can use headphones. And I know they have some kind of other stuff that you can put directly into the water. You know, I simply use my iPad. I put the speaker right next to it, and this is how it actually worked for me. Okay.
I have a question for.
Hi, Scott.
Is this procedure a one-time application, or can it be repeated?
Yes, thank you so much. Very good question. Yes, you can repeat it a couple of times. What I've noticed, if somebody was really severe, they did 3 times for 3 days. Basically, you repeat that protocol 3 times for 3 days if you really don't feel very well. But most of them was like 3 times for the day, for the natural state. I heal myself instantaneous as soon as I did it 1 time, but I think it was 27 or 29 minutes. And that was colitis. You know, exactly in the protocol that I'm giving you, 3 hertz, 70 hertz, 90 hertz, and it was 27 minutes of each duration. And as soon as I finished the last one, it completely disappeared. The pain disappeared, everything disappeared like was never there before. And this is how I was like in, you know, absolute shock that this was working incredible. You know, so I know from my own experience, but you can repeat it a couple of times if you feel good about yourself. You know, it's okay to repeat it.
Is it possible to crystallize the water to activate the 12 strands of DNA?
Yes. I actually sent that information to somebody about it. And actually, you have in my messages, put Marina Jacobi on YouTube, DNA, RNA, and the information is there. You can actually put a specific frequency vibration, geometry pattern, which is 5-dimensional structure, and you can tune that signal into the water molecule, and it's going to mimic, and when you drink it, it can change your DNA, but you can also do that directly to the DNA when you put the signal, the person to listen to it. So you can skip it through the water. You don't have to do the water, but you can do the water, and you can do it directly to the person. Yes, you can change completely the DNA. This is the reason why a lot of people manipulated the water, because through the water, since it's a conductor, can completely manipulate DNA, shut it down. That's why they were putting all these chemicals and fluoride and stuff like that in the water, because it's a pure conductor.
Someone online asks, are the minerals in water before distilling interfering with the water structure?
Not necessarily where it's coming, if it's coming from the rocks and if it's coming from the planet and stuff like that, is not completely the one that is resonate with the body, but because of all the chemicals that happen, it's absolutely interfering with the structure, yes. If it's a chemical that is not natural and is absolutely destroying the water. and it becomes like a ripple effect to every molecule. Each molecule is mimicking the other one. It's so basically, if you put a one molecule into the water of a poison, you basically, the whole water, it's carrying the entire structure. That's why it's so dangerous when they poison water on, you know, whatever the agenda that is there, because it's really carrying, is like a ripple effect through the water. That's why they wanted us to do distilled water, so you can pull this stuff out and recover the body, rejuvenate everything. Again, if you're fasting for 3 days in distilled water, you're going to release the free radicals, and they're going to start attacking the cancer cells in your bodies. And then you can move to juicing and raw diet and raw cakes. It's delicious stuff out there. If you want to just try this this fasting for 3 days, I do not recommend this for people that are diabetic. I was warned about diabetics that because it's complex, it fluctuates too much. You need to go to a specialist, and one of the places was, again, the Tree of Life in Arizona, and there's a video on YouTube that is called Reversing Diabetics in 30 Days. I strongly recommend whoever's diabetic to look into that video.
Someone asked, how many days should we do this for?
If anybody, just for their own good, do it once a day. If anybody that doesn't feel very well, do 3 times for the day, or 3 times 3 days once a day. Play with it, no more than 3 days though. No more than 3 days, please.
Suppose you put it in the next room with the 3 hertz and you forget about it, and 45 minutes go by instead of 30 minutes. Could you make it too strong?
You're making it too strong, may not working, because remember, the frequency is a specific sequence. So you want to do it. That means you end up making a completely different potency. You got to start over. So that's why you need to pay very close attention. That was a good question. Thank you. I wouldn't think of that one. But I think I did something similar like this, and I had to start over completely. You have to start over. Don't do it.
Scott asks, so is this protocol to be applied when we are ill, or perhaps periodically, like vitamins?
I can do it periodically, because if you ill, you can do it 3 times for the day, or 3 days, 1 time a day, if you want to do that. But periodically, you can do once a month, because the way they did it, they told me that this is the protocol to stay in a natural state, to always be in a healthy state. Yet, I do not promise that you're always going to be in a natural state. If you're eating the bad food and you're poisoning yourself, watch what you're doing. And if you want to, just for your own sake, to keep your body in a natural state after you're eating healthy, you always do this protocol, because I know it works. I'm a prime example of it. Okay, what else? More questions?
I just have a statement from Star. It's not really a question.
Hi, Star.
She says that just approximately 2 months ago, I shared with you that I had a lot of repository problems, and to drink distilled water, and immediately the crouching stopped, and I could breathe deeply without the frequency. So now I plan on using the frequency with the distilled water.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad that's the example. That means it worked, whatever I discussed with her. Whatever they recommended. So thank you for sharing, Star.
Would it be a good idea to do this with water for growing vegetables as well?
Oh my God, good questions. Yes, you can do that in the water. And okay, for vegetables, do 23 minutes, they said, for vegetables. For each hertz. For vegetable, each hertz should be 23 minutes. Okay? No more than that. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? If you have questions, just ask. So this is basically it. They're asking me to tell you not to use for vegetables more than 23 minutes for each hertz, okay? It's gonna neutralize radicals. So don't do more than 23 minutes if you wanna just to do for the vegetables. It's gonna grow faster, actually, they said. That will be interesting if somebody tries that. If you do this frequency, see how the vegetables are growing faster. That's what they said. Yeah. Any other question?
I have another question. What about the nutrients for the vegetables?
Nutrients is always coming from the ground anyway, you know. And also, if you look at vegetables, you guys have to understand that the vegetables are ecosystem. So if you plant okay, what they're telling is if you plant vegetables, for example, you have a couple of carrots. Next to the carrot should be, for example, lettuce or something else, because what's happening, they're showing me under the ground, they talk about weeds. They talk about weeds. You need to plant a lot of weeds around the fruits and the vegetables because they carry very different frequency, and the weeds are having very long, what do you call that? Roots, yes, thank you. And they carry nutrients out of the deep ground that are not that polluted, and it becomes like a network underneath, and they feed in each other with the nutrients. So actually, don't kill the weeds. If you plant the proper weeds in a geometry circle, they talk about geometry circle, and they're saying, wow, that's a lot of information. And they're saying, if you study the frequency vibration of the different vegetables and fruits, how they are vibrating, and one is the consistency, you'll be able to put them in geometry based on their vibration, and you're going to have a very vast pure frequency for growth, and they're going to be very high in vibration. So anybody that has a farm and want to try, but you need, again, the scientists to measure all that. I know there was a girl that was measuring frequency of different vegetables. So again, weeds are important, and they have to be in their own ecosystem. The formula, hold on, they tried to give me a formula. Let me see this. I gotta do something here. Okay, they just gave a formula. For 2 vegetables, you need 3 weeds around it. For 3 types of fruits, whatever fruits you have, you need 3 to 5 weeds around it. Now, if we have somebody to measure that, that's very interesting how this is gonna be, because they're saying they're feeding the weeds, since of the roots are feeding very potent the vegetables, they're feeding off each other, and the vibrational sequence in the molecule becomes very potent, which they're saying that it's raising the frequency of your molecule. So when you juice it and when you eat it, becomes very potent vibrational sequence that is raising the body and is healing your body. So here's, guys, this is the formula. Pay close attention because that's the first time I did it. So it's to 5. So again, 2 vegetables, you need to plant 3 weeds around it. 3 types of fruits, you need to plant 3 to 5 weeds around it. If it's a tree, then you plant around the tree, 3 to 5, or make it like an ecosystem so they feed off each other because of something to do with the potency. And then you can crystallize water if you want to, the way you want it. You can energize the water too. And they also saying if you know the frequency of each vegetable and stuff like this, you can also put it in a oh my God, wait a minute. Okay, they saying, since we're talking about the water, if you know, oh, that's a good information, guys. if you know the frequency vibration of each vegetable, you can tune in the frequency vibration of that vegetable and put that frequency into the water molecule. And this way, if you don't have the vegetables, but you know the frequency, if you don't have the vegetable, you can actually do like ecosystem indoor and put the nutrient vibrational sequence into the water molecule that will carry whatever is happening here. So you actually crystallize in a specific frequency vibration, and you're not going to need this if you're in an area, for example, that is, they showing me snow and stuff like this. So you can have an indoor, some kind of a farm that they do, you know, like a hydroponic farm, they use in the word, hydroponic farm. So if you know the frequency vibration of that, you don't even have to have the nutrient. You actually use the frequency vibration of this vegetable because you already measure it, what the vegetable end up vibrating, the frequency of this. If, for example, you have a carrot and you want to measure, through scientists can measure the frequency vibration of the molecule, the energetic field from that carrot, you don't need the carrot, grab that vibration and put it in the water molecule, and even if you don't have the vegetables around, it's going to carry, and you're going to make a hydroponic system in any area that is, for example, no sun and stuff like that. Oh, and they're saying you can also do frequency of the sun. You can measure that, and you can also plant it in the water. See, here it goes. More information came in. Okay? More questions? Go ahead, honey.
This one's from Susan.
Oh, sorry.
Is the YouTube video for activating DNA strands titled The Third Strain DNA from May 2017?
I don't remember, but I think it says DNA, RNA, and I was talking about plugging specific frequency into the DNA, RNA, and its activation. So that's what, so I think this is the video, yes. So if you guys want to look at the video, if you put on YouTube DNA, RNA, Marina Jacobi, it's going to come out. I don't remember what day it was exactly, but yes, you can activate. So again, since you were asking about the stuff, this is how you can transfer. Basically, the reason why, this was very interesting that this happened, because basically in the water, since it's a conductor, you can put any type of frequency vibration and carry it to any location, anywhere, even if it's no sun, you can even put the frequency of the sun, which is very potent. And how do you do that? Oh, they said measure the pulsation of the rays. Something when the sun is on the sky, for example, and it's sunny outside, to measure some kind of a pulsation from the sun that is coming, and accordingly to that pulsation is the frequency that you need to carry and put it into the water. Scientists must know what I'm talking about. Okay? So this is new. See, that's why I love interaction, because I didn't know about this information either. I'm just coming up with it. You know, they're telling me, they're showing me. So it was very interesting actually today.
Another question from online. Can you do a gallon of water at a time for vegetables? I guess they're asking about shelf life of the, once you put the frequency into the water, how long is that good for?
If you do 20 minutes, no more than 3 days, it's going to carry, and eventually it's not going to be that potent.
Is it okay to drink distilled water if you have metal fillings or metal pins in your body?
If you have a metal pins in a body, just make, yes, you can drink it, and it's going to pull the... Oh, they actually told me, for whoever talks about the metal pins, when you drink water that has some kind of a minerals and stuff like this, depending on the minerals, especially if you carry chemical, because a lot of this water carry chemicals, is actually that metal pins, depending on the vibration, these chemicals will stick to the metal in your body. So that's why you need the distilled water, because I got confused in the beginning. They were showing me that it's sticking, but then was not the distilled water, was the regular water. So if you have something in the body that is from metal or something that they do, make sure that you drink distilled water, not the regular water, because they just show me that the regular water, if there's any chemicals on it, is actually going into the metal and is becoming like rotten. I see almost like it become not rustic, but almost like a coral type of color. It sticks on it and becomes bigger and bigger, and becomes like an inflammation, and is not working properly. So yeah, the metal actually end up being not good in the body. Okay, so just the water.
We have some questions, a couple of questions from, I believe you pronounce his name, Adun. Great Marina, where to start? Examples of what weeds, grass, grain, nitrogen fixing, flowers. I use digponics with tomatoes.
Well, I'm not a farmer. I'm just downloading the information the way you guys ask me. The best way to do is like, since we don't have the scientists to measure that for you to transfer it in the water, I would definitely energize the water if you want through the 20/20 or 23. Remember they were saying 23 for the vegetables. 23 minutes for all that formula for vegetables. Use that formula for all that and see how it plays out. They gave us the formula and see what's going to happen. From now on, you can use this protocol. I can't tell you what type of frequency because I don't know the specific frequency of that particular vegetable. And then keep in mind that this particular vegetable or fruit will have a different frequency depending on the area that it's in. Okay, don't think that if you take something from Hawaii, will have the same frequency as New Jersey, for example. Will be different, similar, but definitely different type of potency and the frequency.
He's also asking, we use a synchrometer, I guess it's called, to measure the frequencies of different things, fruits, vegetables, weeds, etc. A synchrometer, he's referencing, I guess this is a book, The Cure for All Diseases.
I am not familiar with that, so I'm sorry, I cannot comment on that. I don't want to comment. I know you guys come with a lot of stuff. I don't want to comment on something that I'm not familiar because I don't think so it's right for me to do that and completely say something for somebody's work that I never researched on. But thank you for your question. It was very nice to ask.
There's a question from Star. Is it possible to create a musical composition for multiple purposes?
Yes. And you can, through the music, you can actually carry. What is music? It's a frequency vibration. So basically what you do here is measuring, for example, from the vegetables, the symphony of the frequency, and you carry it into the water. So the same thing with anything. Yes, you can carry it. You can do anything like that. Mm-hmm.
There's another question from online. For pets who have kidney issues and need to have subcutaneous fluid drip of saline water inserted under the skin, how can we reprogram the saline water that comes in a pouch? I have been running frequencies through the saline water through my own invention to connect to pure source frequencies of love, joy, health, etc.
I will not comment on medical conditions because I'm not an expert, and I'm doing that because, again, I'm not an expert on that. And what they told me that whatever you are asking is very complex and need intervention for that. Because they're saying for me to tell you that it fluctuates in the body when they have a kidney conditions, and it's the reason why it's so complex is because of the fluctuation, and you cannot put exact measurement on that because it can be changing every moment to moment to moment, whatever is happening in the body. Distilled water could be used, but yet is not recommended, again, because of the fluctuation from the kidney, the way the kidneys are carrying, they're saying, everything. It needs to be monitored, I'm sorry, that has to be monitored. And diabetes. Those two has to be. So This is the first time I hear. So kidneys and diabetes has to be monitored. You cannot go in these diets that I'm talking about until you have a doctor's supervision because of fluctuation in the frequency, the way it carries the vibration.
We have a question for somebody online about the vegetables. I'm planting vegetables on my farm. Please tell me what helps the vegetables have high vibration. I guess, is there anything they can do to keep the vibrations of the vegetables high?
You can always use that if you want to use that, but the soil. You have to make the soil very potent, very pure. That will actually really carry your vegetables in very potent frequency. The soil, it's they say number one. It carries the nutrients into your vegetables. So basically, your soil has to be organic and do anything that you need to do through to make your soil very rich in nutrients. So if it's rich in nutrients, then it's rich in potency. Organic nutrients. No chemicals on your soil, no poisoning stuff. And also, if you do weeds, the weeds actually will carry the whole system of your soil. It's going to take care of itself. It's going to take care of diseases. And there has to be a study for that. And if you do more research, I'm sure you're going to find a lot of information on that. Thank you for your question.
Here's a question from Star. What about bathing in water?
Well, I assume everybody should. But thank you. Yeah, good question anyway. Yeah, you can do that if that's what makes you feel good about it. You can put some frequency into the water too. Use the main protocol for everything if that makes you feel good. It's you drink it or you do it, but when you have to do it with the body, please do it through the drinking because it goes directly. This is more for peace of mind, and of course the skin is the biggest organ and you still get it, but the best way is to drink it. But yeah, you can crystallize it. Yes. Mm-hmm.
There's another question from online. I'm having surgery on Monday. Is there a certain number of times per day you recommend to help the body heal?
Through the water?
I guess.
After, do that protocol after the surgery to 27 minutes for you. Whoever that person is, 27 minutes for you. That's what they said for me to tell you.
How many times a day, though, would you recommend?
No, do it 3 times once a day, 27 minutes after the surgery. Okay? So 3 times, 27 minutes. So that means 3 hertz will be 27 minutes for you, 70, 27 minutes, 90 hertz, 27 minutes, and do it 3 days, once a day of that after the surgery. Mm-hmm. Anything else, guys? That's it? No more? Yes, honey?
Can you use distilled water to make a juice, like a detox juice?
Yes, very good question, honey. Yes, I always, whatever I was doing was always with the distilled water. As soon as they told me to move completely in the distilled water, I moved totally in the distilled water. I didn't use any distilled water. I don't give it any other water to my kids. I said distilled because I've learned what it does in the body and how much it's helping us. And the reason why it was necessary to do that because of all the pollution that is around in the systems. And we need to detox completely and pull out everything. And at least we're doing our best because if anything is in a nano, then we are into the DNA and it's a lot of problems there. But that's a different topic. You can use the protocol if that makes you feel better, but no, when you start cooking, you mix in a lot of other frequency into it, and remember the cooking is lowering the vibration of your vegetables and fruits, so it may not be the same potency that you want to. When you cook something, the frequency vibration of all these vegetables is changing. It's mutating to a different vibrational sequence. So if you want it really pure, it has to be raw. That's the reason why I never recommended like specific green powders and stuff like this. It says spirulina, or for example, you have this green powders and you drink it, because the potency of the frequency vibration is completely different. Will sustain you, will help you through, but it is not going to override it to really, really heal you, because the frequency is completely different. When you're sick, you want something that is better frequency, more potent than the previous, to override it in order to heal you and bring your body back to a natural state of vibration. Makes sense? Yeah. Any other questions? Anybody? Anyone?
Yes. Is it healthy to eat only fruits or fruit juices?
Now, the reason why when you have to detox, you have to do the fruit, the juices, because it becomes very potent. And it goes directly into your blood, and you cut off completely the chemical process when the stomach has to go and mix everything up, spread all the chemicals around and transfer them to the body. By you doing that, you're also losing some kind of a vibration, some kind of an energy. When you take it as a juice and you don't have to chew it, the stomach doesn't have to go through that process, it goes direct into your blood. You keep in more potency of the frequency, because it's very potent. Imagine like a pill, 500 milligrams. And if you chew it, maybe you're going to get like a 200 milligrams. You want it very potent in order to override the sickness again and flush everything out. And then when it goes directly into the stomach, directly into the blood, you cut off completely the process of mixing everything. That's the reason it's so important to do juicing. You give a break to the whole system of your stomach, and you're not losing a lot of energy by processing it. Again, do not mix fruits and vegetables. It's going to ferment. If you want to start with something, you want it to be bitter, because the bitterness is flushing you out. Remember that protocol. This is how I was taught, and it's work. And if you don't mix fruits and vegetables, I guarantee you will have no gas, maybe once in a blue moon, but that's because it doesn't ferment, and you're going to keep more nutrients into it. If you put it together, it's going to ferment, and you're going to start losing nutrients. And this is the reason why a lot of people that are detoxing and stuff like this, all of a sudden they lost a lot of nutrients, because they end up mixing it together. That's the reason why.
There's a question from Adun. Can we rebalance the frequency of the food we eat in the same way as with the water? So I guess he's asking, can you run the frequencies, the hertz, the same way
Towards the vegetables?
Food, yeah.
Is not going to be enough for the mutation, because especially if the vegetable is the seed came from the GMO, is completely genetically modified, and you will not be able to reverse it this way. So no, I would not do that. I would do that with natural fruits and vegetables if you want to put the proper frequency, but not when it's GMO, not when it's genetically modified. It has completely different property, and you're not going to be able to restore it. Yes, that's
Rich?
it.
Somebody asked a question if you have a recommendation for a tone generator.
OnlineToneGenerator.com. I don't have one myself. I found it this way. I didn't buy anything. I just used everything from online. Actually, this was the generator that I end up using for myself, and that's how it works online. So if you ask for physical something, no, I don't have it at home. The only thing I use for myself when they told me what to do is from Online Tone Generator, and I use the square. Okay, that's what I did. Any other questions, guys?
Nope.
That's it? Oh, 5 minutes. Okay, well, I just want to say thank you to everybody for everything you guys did, and for the fact that you were so nice to come every single time and honor me and honor all of us here in Master Active to participate and to ask your questions. So I just want to tell you I love you. Let it be from my heart to yours. As I said, please, in 2 weeks, I will launch the energyphilanthropy.org. It's on standby right now because we're doing last touches. So get in there and start helping each other out from the heart with no expectation, so you can raise your frequency vibration to the proper platforms for fifth-dimensional structure. The only way you're gonna see the structures if you be the vibrational sequence of it is like a radio tuning. It already exists fifth-dimensional Earth. In order for you to see it, you have to be the vibration of it. So thanks for you honoring me, for honoring everybody here, and I love you very much and thank you.
Do you know anything about the platform that'll happen in 2 weeks? When it's going to be, the time, the day, or anything like that?
No, because I'm putting different videos. I wanted to make it really nice. If you guys have any suggestions once I launch it, but once I launch it, I'm gonna tell you here, and anybody that is signing on my website mailing list, I'm gonna just post it for everybody so you guys sign in. I'm just telling you what is coming, upcoming, and with Master Active we continue. I guess, Jason, you want to say something to everybody?
Yes, we'll be going every other Tuesday night, and we're gonna have
Yeah.
people from online coming in and asking questions and having conversations with you.
Yes, that's right, because you guys know, if you watch all my stuff, I love the interaction. So iTunes is a different platform the next time. Basically, you can ask the question live, right? And when you ask the question live, this way I'll be able to explain anything. I love that interaction because, as you see right today, how much information came from the vegetables. Sometimes I don't know what they're gonna say, what is gonna come instantaneous. So that's why I love when you guys ask me a lot of questions and we can interact for that. I want to thank you so much again. That's it. Thank you.